Okay, so we're always interested to find out what Minority Media is doing next, because you always have these sort of projects that are interesting and sort of challenging our brains a little bit, not just our reflexes. So what can you tell us about this game that you're showing off here at PAX East?
This is called Time Machine, and it's our first VR game. Time Machine is a sci-fi adventure. It is set in the future, where we've reached world peace. So all the money that used to go into warfare now is invested in science and research and development, right? As a result, we've developed the technology to travel through time. That's cool. And we founded this international museum where scientists from all over the world work together to advance the human condition. You're one of those scientists. And one of your first missions is to travel back to the Jurassic era to collect data on living dinosaurs. So you effectively become the first human being to ever encounter living dinosaurs.
That's pretty cool, and an amazing concept for a VR game, to be able to go back in time. Was that sort of the idea there? Was VR always in the concept?
Yeah, I mean, this game is built from the ground up for VR. We've had VR in our crosshairs for a while. Mander used to work in VR before he was in video games. He did some prototyping for different architecture companies around the world with older VR technology. And you know, a lot of people from our team actually were into VR from a while back. The only thing is that back then, you know, the technology wasn't powerful enough. And now that, you know, when we saw the Oculus come out, when we saw what Morpheus was doing as well, we saw the kind of power and the processing power that it had. So we finally saw an opportunity to materialize some of the things that we had in the back of our mind for a while. And Time Machine is the first one. Yeah.
So I always feel that your games, they carry messages. What do you feel it is about VR that sort of will help the narrative in video games?
Well, Time Machine is different from Papo. You know, a lot of people like to call Papo and Yo an empathy game. And as a result, I think a lot of people have you know, unconsciously tried to pigeonhole us into you know, empathy game makers. But the truth is, you know, Papo and Spirits of Spring, and you know, every game we've made was about challenging the rules, the challengings of of game design rules, challenging the rules of storytelling. And Time Machine is in that same tradition, you know. So even though it's not necessarily an empathy game, Time Machine reaches back to the time when, you know, a lot of us were in AAA, working for AAA developers, making first-person shooters. We developed this expertise making first-person shooters. So as a result, with Time Machine, we're applying some of that expertise with, let's say, for example, the control schemes, where we're using first-person shooter control schemes and applying them to push the scientific side of the story.
But it's not a shooter, right? What kind of gameplay elements are there in there as you explore this sort of forgotten world?
The core right now for the demo that people are testing at PAX East right now is a lot of exploration. It's getting to experience the presence of being among dinosaurs, among living dinosaurs, and getting to approach them, you know, very closely. From the safety of virtual technology, essentially, you know, and we've been working really hard with paleontologists from McGill University in Montreal to get the dinosaurs as closely as possible, as authentically as possible as we can with the actual science that we have right now. So, you know, the main object right now with Time Machine is the immersion and getting into, you know, the skin of a scientist who travels through time. I mean, it doesn't get more awesome than that, I think.
So will there be survivalist themes, or will it be sort of less focused on that, or?
I'm gonna drop a bomb here and say that we're working with some of the writers that wrote the Assassin's Creed series to write a really cool story that goes with this game. So right now we're showing a lot of the gameplay, but essentially, I mean, you're the main character in a story that becomes a lot more complex, because there's gonna be characters that are your allies, others that have conflicting interests with you. And also, you know, asking, you know, the implications of the power of time travel. What does that imply? What happens when that falls into the wrong hands? And what happens to you when you're stuck in the middle of that story? So, I mean, without giving any more details than that, I mean, that, you know, it gives you a sense that it's going to be, you know, a more ambitious story than what we're showing right now at the demo.
Yeah, I think that the time travel thing sort of opens up a whole new can of worms in terms of like the narrative and things. I mean, we've all experienced the Terminator movies and what's going on here and how did that happen? And I guess there's a lot of interesting twists you can add to a story thanks to that.
Absolutely. And the really cool thing we've noticed at PAX and at some of the events that we've been before showing Time Machine is that the hardcore gaming community is embracing the idea of Time Machine, which is really awesome because with Papo, we had some resistance from the hardcore community, and at Minority we're all hardcore gamers at heart, so it's really cool to see also the hardcore community like look back at us and say, yeah, time travel in dinosaurs, this is cool, first person shooter mechanics, awesome, like let us check it out, And it's also been awesome because we've seen a lot of families, a lot of kids actually try Time Machine and come out of that and be really excited, and people who don't usually play games try going from not playing games to trying Time Machine as the first virtual reality experience that they have, and coming out of that really wowed. So we've heard a lot of wows and oh my gosh today. We've had people with disabilities try the game as well and like play it in a way that's totally awesome as well. And it's pretty awesome that we've been able to reach a very broad demographic with this game. That's really awesome.
So what's the plans ahead? What's the journey ahead with Time Machine and what's left? I guess there's a lot left to do then.
Yeah, I mean, the demo we're showing right now is 4 months into development. We're a team of about 15 developers, most of them coming from a AAA background, which is why we've been able to iterate so fast and present this at PAX East right now. But there's still a long way to go. I mean, we've got a lot more dinosaurs that we're going to put in. We're going to, thicken the plot. And if this works out really well, we like to explore other episodes where we visit other time periods. Who knows, like you're landing in the middle of the Giza Plateau and they're building the pyramids or something, and it's like something, we're aiming for something a lot more ambitious than what we've done in the past, for sure.
And are you aiming for all virtual reality platforms, or are you sticking with Oculus, or?
Right now we're just focusing on developing Time Machine. We haven't decided what platform to release on yet. What we would like, ideally, is to release Time Machine at the same time as the first consumer VR devices come out. We'd like Time Machine really to become, one of those flagship games that defines the technology and that sticks with, in the minds and hearts of people for a long time afterwards.
Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you very much.